So, that last one was sad, huh? Enough of that shit, enough of that sad stuff. Let's get angry. Let's talk about classes. Elective classes. This is something I've wanted to bring up for a long time, but just never got around to. So I think it's time we talked about rhetoric. Rhetoric. Practically a dirty word these days. Well, we had a class on it, a mandatory class, and the only one that should have been. First day, we walk into our 3-hour class, and the teacher tells us right up that because of a clerical error booking the classroom, that we break each hour to switch to a different room. 3 hours, 3 classes. Another stunning example of my school's flawless bureaucracy. Then, of course, there was the textbook, another $100. Fucking crooks. But eventually, there was some actual learning, and I mean actual fucking learning. An entire elective devoted to teaching students how to argue, not encouraging them to argue, teaching them how to argue, how to collect their thoughts and present an argument, how to rebut, how to refute, and how to admit when they're wrong. Every student, no matter what course they're taking, no matter what school they're in, should have to take a rhetoric class. Let's face it, probably as early as high school. How to back up your thoughts and opinions is a lot more useful in day-to-day interactions than a grade 9 biology test on organelles or some bullshit on Mesopotamian tax law. Composition and rhetoric was a class that, unlike so many in the infinitely faceted gem that is academia, really taught you how to put your thoughts together. This was useful for being an artist, despite my classmates hating it. It was dull, it was book heavy, it made you do essays and establish points and counterpoints, and these were all art kids. The poor fucks. They just wanted to express their feelings, not hear why their feelings didn't matter. But look, if you're selling art to someone, you need to back up your claims. You need to sell yourself. Let's say a client hires you to do a big spot illo in a magazine, or something for their cover article on the rise of felching acceptance of the workplace. Something to really make it pop. And they say, hey, why don't you make the hair really dense? To show how into natural beauty we are. And then you can turn around and explain why your approach of a clean-shaven taint is better, because then your focus is centered entirely on the anus itself, where the real action is. Much better than saying something like, hey, I'm the artist here, fuck you. You're not gonna get a lot of repeat customers with that attitude. You've gotta convince people. Screaming shit like, I'm right, you're wrong, fuck you, you're Hitler. That doesn't work. Popular these days, though it may be. Which brings me to something else we learned, something important. Logical fallacies. And no, that is not a euphemism for a Vulcan's dick. We learned what they were and how to avoid them. Like when you say to your girlfriend, come on, sweetie, Frankie's girlfriend lets him go to bed with other women. And of course, she says, I'm not Frankie's girlfriend, we've all been there. But she's right. Frankie and his lady love have nothing to do with you. I actually liked the class. Don't get me wrong, having to write essays when I had art projects to do is not my preference, but it was an actual, valuable use of my time. Not like those other electives. Nothing grates my fucking ballsack quite like paying $60 an hour tuition on worthless shit like vampires in media, back hair crochet, or the ancient mythology class I took where we watched a movie on Napoleon. Fucking Napoleon is not mythology. I paid money for this shit. And if I really want to learn about Greek gods, I can read the internet just fine on my own. Thank you. Sitting in my underwear, Wikipedia on Hellenistic shit in one window, bestiality thread in the other. Amazing how similar those two are. They say if you want to learn how to think, go to university. If you want to learn how to do, go to college. I wanted to learn how to do, which is why I enrolled in college for a Bachelor of Applied Arts. Applied arts. Imagine my joy when I later found myself being force-fucked with the dildo that is breadth courses. Emphasis on breadth. Because when you're taught how to think, it's never how as in, these are the mental tools you will need in order to think in a logical manner and express those thoughts productively. It's how as in, this is what you're going to think, this is the narrative you're going to follow, these are your sources, these are your enemies, death to infidels, report all thought crime. Maybe there was a time when universities and colleges fostered independent thought, enlightened our youth, opened their minds to new and different ideas and opinions, and taught them to analyze and interpret them fairly, and how to properly criticize authority and coexist peacefully when agreements couldn't be reached. But that time is long fucking past, ladies and gentlemen. Take a good long look around. Look at Twitter. Look at Tumblr. Look at a YouTube comment section. Look at a media giant's comment section if they haven't deleted it. No one knows how to form a fucking argument anymore. And nowhere is it more prevalent than a college campus. The cancer has spread. College campuses, where students are afraid to hear different opinions because they never learned how to admit they might be wrong. And they've bought into the idea that everyone who disagrees with them is the devil, or a commie, or Nazi, or whatever buzzword we give to our opposition this century. It's all the same shit. College campuses with protests over hurt feelings, panic attacks over chalk drawings, hate crime hoaxes, mob rule, cry-ins, suspension of due process, and safe spaces with coloring books, therapy dogs, and Play-Doh. Play-Doh! Fucking Play-Doh! As a means of therapy for grown fucking adults whose parents did such a piss-poor job raising them that the different opinions they hear make them think they have PTSD. And then they have to shave their head, drop out of class, move back into mommy and daddy's second condo, and start e-begging so they can get the funds necessary to start up a monthly vlog on their healing process in the hopes they get picked up by the Huffington Post. And this whole bullshit victim mentality is perpetuated by the schools themselves. Why offer a boring class like composition and rhetoric when you can offer fourth dimension intersectional social deconstructionism, or a degree in gender studies, which is useful exclusively in seeking out a career teaching gender studies? Kids aren't being taught to challenge themselves or defend their thoughts. They're being taught to attack and ostracize dissidents and take junk classes. Junk classes. Empty mental calories. Complete wastes of fucking time and money. Spend 4 years in school, learn nothing, get deep into debt, only to have no marketable skills besides blaming everyone but yourself, and then wonder what the fuck happened. Millions of college grads every year majoring in English Lit, wondering why they can't get a job in STEM. Oh, I guess you can blame the schools, but of course the schools offer this shit. Education is a fucking business. There's a demand, they're meeting it with supply. That's economics. Classes of students so fucking deluded, they believe schools aren't places of learning, but homes. You want a home? Stay the fuck at home. I'm not going to go into the details of the class. I guess it'd be pretty boring, but it's a lot like the scientific method in a sense. Get a bunch of sources, base your conclusions on the facts, not the other way around. Stick to the argument at hand, don't contradict yourself, just be consistent, and perhaps most importantly and most easily forgotten, how you feel is not an argument. Feelings aren't evidence, they aren't sources, and I assure you, despite what you see online, utterly meaningless in an argument. That's the gist, I guess. Worth your time. If you can't support your claim, maybe you're wrong. There's no shame in being wrong, only in never admitting it, and then constructing a narrative about how not agreeing with you is a form of violence. I had a good time in college. Glad I went. But with every passing year, I grow happier and happier that I got out when I did. If you're starting college now, good luck, Skeezix. You are gonna need it.